Good morning. I hope everybody had a great weekend. It was kind of cool here with the winds. When it's too hot or too warm for the time of year, out here we get really high winds. And we had that. We had some wind gusts up to 40, and yesterday it was in the 20, 30 mile per hour range. So there's a big storm headed east. I think everybody, news channel is getting everybody all worked up for as much as 3 feet of snow in New York City. So hopefully they don't get that much. That'd be a lot to handle, wouldn't it? I've never been, I think the biggest snowstorm I've been in here has been either 14 or 18 inches, and it slows things down a bunch. Can't get out. And around and about. I couldn't imagine what 3 feet would be like, especially funneled down into all those streets in New York and drifting as the wind whips around the corners. So anyway, the storm will not be as bad as forecast. There's a lot of news that we drifting through the markets this week. 2-year auction through 7. That's usually a pretty good auction, especially the 2-year. With the Greek elections, with the strength in the dollar, with all the uncertainty around the world, I would have to guess that this week's auction will be pretty well received. We have the Greek elections. The political rhetoric continues. They are not going to live with austerity anymore. The debt will be repudiated. Now, the reality is that Greece needs cash flow, and their only banker is the European Central Bank. So I'm sure something will be worked out that will allow the EU, the European Central Bank, and the Greeks to save face. I don't think the elected politicians will burn it down, but they will probably be pushing pretty hard for new terms and some debt repudiation. The problem facing the European Central Bank was the same problem facing our central bank. We had over $1 trillion worth of bad debt in mortgage backs. They've got over $1 trillion worth of bad debt in sovereign debt from the PIGS members. So that will be worked out over time, and usually the taxpayers end up picking up the tab. So there'll be a lot of rhetoric. There'll be announcements. We'll have news spots related to this off and on, so we just have to be careful. Don't know what the outcome will be, but it will not be bad as the rhetoric the Greek politicians use to get themselves elected. Everybody needs cash flow. President Obama is cutting short his trip to India. He will stop in Saudi Arabia to pay his respects to the dead king. I doubt if anything will come out of that. Another photo op. So I think he's headed back for Washington right now. Today's news is markets flash PMI for services at 53.8. It's above 50. The questions are now, can China, Germany, and the United States economy pull the rest of the world through? That's been the question facing everybody for the last year. And we have Dallas Fed manufacturing survey expected at 4. That's not a robust number. I'll put some articles into the room when I get my email capability back. The net job gains in the United States all came from North Dakota down through Texas. 65 counties in the entire United States accounted for all our population, all the growth in the unemployed workers. The rest of the United States lost net workers. So the recovery is tenuous at best, and low oil prices are going to stop the growth from North Dakota down to Texas, or certainly slow it down a great deal. Price of crude oil is trying to stabilize here in this $45 area. Most people still think it's headed lower. Copper is headed lower, so we're really looking at deflation, and this bank's going to do about it. And the Japanese experience, we may have a very, very similar experience that Japan has had. So best case scenario to me, as all this debt is worked out, would be Japan. Worst case scenario would be like Argentina. So here we are. We've got a seller at 30 to 30.08, and we have had a buyer down here below 16. So I think that's where we are right now. So we have our first sell, pretty aggressive, 27 to 31, 3 to 7. On the buy side, we'll start off 17 to 13. We'll have to see where the first rotation takes us. Might be 21s, and then 5 to 9 for buy 2. Monday mornings sometimes are a little tough as everybody comes in and tries to sort things out. We do have the 2-year auction, so I don't think the selling get out of hand today, especially given what happens in Greece and what's going on in the Middle East and every place else in Africa. I mean, the slaughter in Nigeria and other places in Africa continues. It is tragic, to say the least. And nobody's willing to get out there and call it what it is. Okay, we've got volumes starting at 04 down to 25, so I've got pretty good support in this area, and we'd like to buy it a little cheap because of the volatility, so we'll make buy 1 25 to 29. Try to pick this up right here, and then we'll drop it 17 to 13. On the sell side, 15 to 19, maybe 11. I'd like to get it done a little bit higher. I think the 2-year is strong enough that we can get it done a little bit higher, and then sell to 23 to 27. Okay, gold supposedly is dumped because of the Greek elections, the outcome there. I mean, it was known. But we're in this buy zone right here. You can see that we have pretty good buying in the 72, then we've got pretty good buying in the 75. So we've got real 75, 77, pretty good buying. So we'll start out 75, 77, may have to pay up. I see it as a trading range. I mean, what would make you dump your gold right now if you got up and read the headlines this morning? I don't think anything would. London's high is at 89.90, 88 to 91. To make 900, and I expect a trading range here. I don't think anybody dumps their gold because of what happened in Greece overnight. I think that it'll become more expensive for the EU and the European Central Bank. Something will have to be done. Got to sell those Mercedes someplace. Can't absorb them all in Germany. In Northern Europe. Okay, the euros come back. This 111, we thought we had pretty good support. We had 111, 111.10. It was hit early in the session, and it's come back up, and then we got this spill from 113. We've got a 111 50 minus market, and it looks like we've got a 1300 plus. So market is pointed higher. We can get up here maybe 90 to 1300, sell 1. Try to pick up this area right here. And then 25 to 35 for sell 2. On the buy side, I really do not like the buy side of this, but it's 1200, 1210 will be buy 1. And then 50 to 60 will be buy 2. The Greek solution, whatever it may be, will cost the EU money. And I have no idea what the solution will be, but I do think that they will be pulling out their checkbook. I think some debt will be forgiven in a way that it'll be extended. It does show on paper, you know, you got a 5-year piece of paper, we'll make it a 10, minimally. And then it's possible that some of it could actually be forgiven. Okay, crude. I don't think anything's changed. I think the world's economy or something, like we said, we like this 45 area as a buy area. And so we'll have 45, 45 and a quarter by 1. Long term, the trade is from the short side. It is not from the long side. 50 to 75 by 2. This market can run $3 easily. So 46, 46 and a quarter. We'll pick up this area right here. Sell 1. 46, 50, 75. Sell 2. As I said, I don't think anything has changed. There is still more supply than demand. And while China and other people might be buying, it's certainly cheaper than it's been in a long time. That does not mean that it's a bottom. Just means that on a dollar cost averaging basis, you bought pretty cheap crude. Okay, stock indexes. The biggest support mechanism out there are European central banks, China's central bank, Japan's central bank, the United States central bank. And I don't think that support leaves the market. It's the one bright piece of news that all central banks can point to. Good times are just around the corner. So on the Greek elections last night, looking like that party was going to win, they took it down. And again, we get into this buy area right here. You see this little 2-letter ledge. This is rejection right down here. That tail, that means prices were too cheap. No willing sellers right there. So we've got pretty good support in this 25 area. To as high as what, 30. So this is where our support band, pretty good structural. And up above, it's in the 55 to 57 area. So 55 to 60 would be where resistance are, and we're kind of at 40. So looking at it structurally right here, stops above the overnight session high. Sell 1, 44 to 46. Better yet, 49 to 51. On the buy side, we'll make 35, 37. Play for this area down in here, London, buy 1. And then 30 to 32 for buy 2. And no doubt these figures will be adjusted. 44 to 46 is pretty aggressive. Selling against 50 is a structural sell. It's a round number. That's pretty easy to see. Just like on the bond, where do you buy it? Okay, it'll take at least 20 minutes to get everything up and posted. I'm busy on that. I will see you as soon as I can. Put the financials up on the screens here momentarily.